Look out, America. The world's smallest con artist is in town.
Why don't you pick on someone your own size, you big ugly chump?
She's got a killer smile.
Cracked me right on the top of the head, all right?
You're gonna cry.
A knockout swing. And a partner.
Okay.
In crime.
We don't steal.
But we cheat.
We don't break any laws.
No, some laws we do.
Not the good ones.
They know a good scam. When they pull one.
You killed my daddy!
You're nuts! What possessed you to invite vagabonds into your home?
Now, they're going from the poor house to the penthouse.
This was the Ritz.
From director John Hughes, creator of Home Alone, comes James Belushi in curly suit.
You scared the living hell out of Curly Sue!
What is she, the lost stooge?
A little con artist who finally gets what she deserves. A family.
You're a man. She's a woman.
Give us a kiss.
Please, we're in public.
May I?
May you what?
Kiss your cheek.
In a pig's eye.
James Belushi, Kelly Lynch, and Alison Porter. Curly suit.
I feel like an idiot.
Big laughs come in small packages.
Hello, hello, I'm Katie, and welcome to Retromade, your pop culture rewind. Today, we're headed back to 1991 to revisit Curly Sue. This is John Hughes' final film as a director. It's got street scams, sentimentality, and one very scrappy kid with big hair and an even bigger heart. I'm very excited to introduce you all to a new guest to the show, Andrew from the Nostalgia Funhouse podcast. Andrew's been actively podcasting for about 5 years now. Please tell the Retromade listeners about you and your show, Andrew.
So the Nostalgia Funhouse has actually had a name change. We changed it to the Nostalgia Funhouse. I started out under the name of Let's Talk But No Politics, okay? But we just started doing so much nostalgia and retro topics that I was like, we're just going to change it. That way we can get it. So yeah, it's pretty much, we just talk about everything. We do an end of the month movie review every month. We do different types of segments. We do a thing called Saturday Morning Rewind, where every once in a while we watch a block from, say, like ABC 1988. We watch all those cartoons and see how we feel about them. We do a thing called Pop Culture Court, where we put people on trial. We've done it to Scott Kelvin from the Santa Claus and Kevin McAllister. We've put him on trial as well at one point. So we've done that. I'm trying to think. And we also do things like turning sitcoms into dramas. So we've just
super fun.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting thing, but mostly it's top 6 lists, tournaments, things like that. Just everything nostalgia base, everything of that nature. So it's pretty much most of the years we cover. I think the newest year we've probably have ever done is around 2005. Pretty much if it's after 2005, we normally don't touch it.
That does track. So it's a good little combo for us to get together and talk because we talk about very similar things. Mm-hmm. So I would recommend everybody check out Andrew's podcast. I'm very curious what the verdict was on Kevin McAllister.
My friend went into it. He was the prosecutor. I was the defense.
Okay.
And he went into it like we were going to kind of like joke around in a way. But I actually started looking up laws in Illinois and everything like that. So actually Kevin got off because of the Castle Doctrine. Because they broke into his house.
Okay.
So he was able to defend himself in that case.
That tracks?
Yeah. So It was very interesting. He was like, I didn't think we were like looking up case studies. And I was like,
Hey,
I was-
you're combining pop culture with true crime. I love it. Those are two of
Yeah.
my favorite types of podcasts. It's freaking fantastic. And yeah, we'll be talking about Home Alone come Christmas time because that's John Hughes as well. I did see, Andrew, that you already covered Curly Sue on your podcast, but I purposefully did not listen to the episode. And I will after this, but I didn't want it to taint any of our conversation that we will have today.
I think my stance has kind of changed in a way now
Okay.
that I've rewatched it. So it's going to be interesting.
Okay.
Because I always try and whenever I do the movie reviews, I always think about how I felt as a kid and does it kind of still stand up. So it's like a young Andrew versus an adult Andrew and how I feel about everything.
That definitely makes sense. Well, I'm excited. But before we get into our time capsule, I do want to share some thoughts from a listener, Scott, from the All 90s Action All the Time podcast. He sent me a lovely note. He says, "Hey, Katie, I hope you're well. I just wanted to get in touch to say how much I've been enjoying your John Hughes season. I think the episodes you've done so far have been great, and I dig the revamped time capsule too." Well, that's good. Thanks, Scott. The season has also inspired me to check out the Hughes films I have not seen as you cover them, which so far has been Mr. Mom and Career Opportunities. Also listening, there was a couple things that came up in your latest episode on National Lampoon's Vacation that you and your guests seemed unaware of that I know the answer to. The first was The Last Detail is a Jack Nicholson film from the 70s directed by Hal Ashby from Harold and Maude. Oh, we were curious what The Last Detail was because I think Randy Quaid was in that. I think that's what we were talking in reference to, and we weren't sure what the heck that movie was. So thank you, Scott. He says it's really good. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to have to check out. Well, it obviously got some award praise, so I'm going to have to check out The Last Detail. Plus, it fits in thematically with your episode as it is also a road trip movie. Oh, okay. Secondly, James Keach is indeed Stacy Keach's brother. We had inquired, so the guy who plays the motorcycle cop in Vacation,
Okay.
his name is James Keach. And we were like, I wonder if he's Stacy Keach's brother. But of course, none of us looked it up. And we were right. So thank you, Scott, for jumping in there. And he says, lastly, Total Film was one of the two most popular film magazines in the UK, the other being Empire, until it closed its doors last year. You may have already looked that stuff up or possibly don't care, but hopefully you found it interesting. Anyway, keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Scott. If you all want to be like Scott, send me an email, retromadepodcast@gmail.com, and be like Scott. I love hearing from people. And whether you want to correct me, whether you want to just say, hey, whether you want to say you like it, you don't like it, send me an email. All right. Andrew, we are going to spin the Retromade wheel in our time capsule.
I do a retro fantasy thing with my friend. So he just spins the wheel for me when we got to pick a week.
I am going to spin on your behalf. We're going to see what category we come upon. Now, I will say we have already covered 1991 in the career opportunities episode.
Okay.
So hopefully we don't double dip because I will spin again if that happens.
Okay.
Return to tune time.
Ooh.
Here's a question for you. Premiering in 1991, this show featured a duck superhero who balances crime fighting with his life as a wealthy socialite. His sidekick is the secret agent dog. Name this cartoon.
Oh, that's not it. I thought it was Darkwing Duck.
It is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Does
Doesn't
he
he-
not?
I wasn't a big Darkwing Duck guy.
Same.
My co-host Johnny loves Darkwing Duck, and it's one of the things that he always says I hate everything that he loves, but I always tell him just wasn't into it. I was DuckTales, and after DuckTales, I was kind of all ducked out when it came to the cartoons. But I figured it was Darkwing Duck. Let's Get Dangerous.
It is Darkwing Duck.
Okay.
I too, this one kind of missed me. And now that there were a lot of duck related cartoons for some reason.
Yeah. That Disney Afternoon was like just sending them out, and I was like, Darkwing Duck. It's cool, but
Yeah.
I like my Launchpad McQuack on DuckTales, not on another show.
DuckTales were good. Yes. Let's see if you'll get this one. I don't know if I would have. Okay. In this 1991 cartoon, an adventurous boy and his magic carpet explore a fictional Arabian city, facing villains and making friends along the way. What's the name of this series?
That's not Aladdin, is it?
It is. I
Is it?
I didn't know there was a series, but yes,
Yes.
Disney's Aladdin had a TV series apparently.
It was, if I remember correctly, it was like early in the morning. Like,
Okay.
like on the weekdays. So if my mom would wake me up early to go to school, it was kind of like one of those things that would be on. And they also had a Little Mermaid series as well.
I vaguely recall that. I don't think I watched it, but yeah, I think if anything was popular, they were like, let's see how much money we can make from
Yeah.
this. This one, I don't know.
Okay.
This 1991 animated series follows a group of teenagers who gain superpowers after a mysterious storm and fight evil forces led by a villain named Hacker. What was this show?
That's the Centurions.
Is it?
I want to say, but I thought that was more in the 80s. Is it Doc Hacker or no, okay, I think
Unless
that is Superhuman Samurai Squad.
This shows okay, so
Okay.
either my answer is wrong or that's highly possible, but it shows SWAT Cats, the Radical Squadron.
Okay, so yeah, probably because the super samurai, whatever it was, like they were super cyber samurais, but I think that came out later because it was kind of a Power Ranger ripoff.
Yeah.
Where they could only use their powers inside of in the computer.
But you mentioned the squadron part. I've literally never heard of this. SWAT Cats, the Radical Squadron.
I've heard of SWAT Cats.
You have? Okay.
There's
Has anyone else? Let me know if you've heard of Cats.
It's a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
I love Hanna-Barbera.
They were like two cats and they were like worked at a junkyard, but then all of a sudden they made like this really cool plane and they did fly around. I never knew their villain name was Hacker.
Okay. All right. Well, you did pretty good. Let's see about another category, Andrew.
My wife says I have a lot of useless knowledge. So
yeah, it comes in handy for, podcast episodes. Let's see if we covered VHS Vault. Nope. Here we go.
Okay.
Ooh, this will be fun. Okay. So VHS Vault, this is the top 5 rentals, movies like at Blockbuster in 1991. I have clues for you, but I'm curious if you have any guesses.
So I'm thinking Home Alone, even though it came out in 90, kind of like that overlap.
Very good guess, but no.
Trying to think of what else. I think I'll need clues on this one then.
But similar, it's a bunch of stuff that came out in 90. Yeah. So here's your first hint. The number 1 rental in 1991, a tragic pottery scene, a subway spirit mentor, and Whoopi Goldberg channeling the afterlife.
Ghost.
Very good.
I was so scared of whenever those demon shadow people would come out.
That was kind of dark, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I remember it was like at a friend's sleepover and we were watching like HBO way later than what we should have, and Ghost came on and I saw those shadow came out and I didn't sleep very good that night.
We covered Ghost last season in the Ultimate Everyman season because Patrick Swayze obviously was in it. So fun one. Number 2, a Hollywood fairy tale featuring a street smart woman, a businessman, and a shopping spree for the ages.
Pretty Woman.
Yes. Oh my God. That's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, my friends would find it very odd. When I was growing up, we were pretty much allowed to watch whatever we wanted to watch. Like my grandmother. So their idea of kids' movies when it came to stuff were way different than mine. They're like, so what did you watch as a kid? And I'm like, oh, RoboCop, Predator, Commando. And they're like, no, didn't you watch? I was like, yeah, we watched that, but those weren't my kids' movies. So Pretty Woman was, I think, a movie night where it was like, you got 2 choices. You can go upstairs or you can watch Pretty Woman with us. So I decided to stay and watched Pretty Woman.
Where are you in the birth order of your siblings?
I am the youngest.
Same with me. And I think that's why, Andrew, I also watched Pretty Woman at a very young, I watched everything at a younger age than probably my siblings because they were like, she's not going to understand half of it. And this is what we're watching. So who cares?
Well, I also have an aunt that is only 13 years older than me.
Okay.
So she literally just, at the age of 18, did not care. I watched Breakfast Club probably constantly over and over and over again. And she would always yell, smoke them up, Johnny, and stuff like that at us. So,
oh, that's such a good one.
Yeah.
That was my first episode of this season.
Well, yeah. So it's kind of in one of those things. I'm 3 years younger than my brother, but my aunt's like only 13 years older than me. So that's where, when I wrote down a lot of my influences in the 80s, because that's pretty much what they just got me into at that point, even at an early age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. The number 3 video rental, 91. It's a good one. As far back as I can remember, this mobster saga made slicing garlic with a razor look like an art form.
Goodfellas.
Oh, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it so much.
I love that movie too. That's a great one.
The next 2 are not as obvious.
Okay.
Okay. Number 4, your hint is a fugitive in the witness protection program and his fiery ex get chased across the country, often on motorcycles.
Oh my goodness. Why did I think? At first I thought it was, what is that? My Blue Heaven, but that's definitely not it.
Goldie Hawn is in it.
Oh.
Mel Gibson.
Why do I want to say Bird on a Wire? But that's not it, is it?
It is. It is Bird on a Wire.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I needed the actors, or I don't think I would have got that.
I never even seen that one. I just remember previews in the movie theaters for it, though.
I actually guested on another podcast, a Mel Gibson podcast, where we talked about it. I love Goldie, not so much Mel. Okay, the last one. The hint is medical students tempt fate by stopping their hearts to see what lies beyond and bring back more than memories.
That is Flatliners.
It is. This doesn't seem that familiar to me.
It's so my dad had this thing called a cheater box. So my parents were divorced like when I was 4, so I'd go to my dad's on the weekends, and he had this thing called a cheater box. So you would get unscrambled pay-per-view. So that's how I watched a lot of movies, was under unscrambled pay-per-view. And I watched Flatliners probably way earlier than I was supposed to, because it is a very, very freaky movie. The way that they go under and they kind of go into like their own personal hell in a way as they kill themselves. Like it's a very good movie. I'm not a Keith or Sutherland guy, but he's pretty good in there. Julia Roberts is in it as well, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they kill themselves, and then their friends or the other students bring them back? Is that what happens?
Yeah, so it's like they try and kill themselves, and then after a while they almost bet on each other or make bets of how long they can stay dead for.
Oh, wow.
So at one point they're like, I could do it for 2 minutes, and then somebody out of nowhere would be like, I'll do it for 5, and they'll be like, okay. I think maybe Oliver Platt's in it too. I want to say it's a pretty decent cast, but they almost face like their own personal hell and their like own demons that they got. It's like a weird version of It in a way too. Like It makes them face their fears. Well, this is kind of like what happens when they go under. Like they have to face what their fear or the biggest regret in life or something traumatic that happened to them. I think I was probably 8 when it came out, around there. And it was intense for an 8-year-old.
That sounds like it.
Like Ghost was like nothing compared to, I felt, Flatliners, because of the story in Flatline.
All right, we have time for maybe one more category.
Okay.
Retro Runway. So this is some fashion stuff. 91. This is an easy one. In 1991, this type of oversized outerwear, often plaid or tweed, and inspired by grunge culture and Nirvana's rise, became streetwear staple for both teens and 20-somethings. What was it?
Flannel?
Flannel shirts. Yep. After the release of Thelma and Louise in 1991, this once rugged accessory saw a resurgence among women, worn with high-waisted jeans and often paired with cowboy boots for a rebellious edge. What item is this?
I have no idea.
Bandanas.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. Often worn as headbands or neck accessories.
Okay.
Yeah. And the last one, Nike released this now iconic sneaker designed for basketball star Michael Jordan, featuring visible air units and a bold infrared colorway that helped launch sneaker culture into the mainstream. Which model of shoe?
Model?
Yeah.
So like which number of Jordan it is?
Yeah, yes, but it is the Air Jordan, obviously.
Jeez.
Bonus points if you get the number.
I'm very intrigued by sneaker culture, like the whole idea of a sneakerhead, but it's probably one of those things that I like to look at from far away.
Same. I would have never guessed the number. I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Jordan. Oh, it's 93.
91.
91.
91.
Sorry, 91. Jordan 3s.
Air Jordan 6.
6? They were on
Yeah.
6, but I was figuring.
I know. They started earlier than I thought, too.
Okay, so there was a new one every year then, probably.
I think so.
Because he came in.
People are probably yelling at us because I'm not a sneakerhead either. So somebody that knows better, let us know. I kind of assume there's a new one every year, but I could be wrong.
I was debating what is it, Puma, and then there's a basketball player, LaMelo Ball. He came out with. They were pretty decent looking Ninja Turtle inspired sneakers.
Awesome.
And I was looking at them, and then I was like $100 and something for sneakers. And I'm like, and then right when I was about to say, you know what, I'm just going to get them, they were sold out of my size. So
of course,
in a way, it was kind of not meant to be. So.
Not meant to be. I know it's sort of like the universe. You're like, well, I think that worked out. Yeah.
So I bought a pair of Hey Dudes instead. So there's my shoes for the.
I don't even know what that is.
They're kind of just slip-on boat shoes, I want to say. Like loafer.
Yeah.
They're pretty popular. And the only way that I knew about it is my younger cousin wore them and they looked really comfortable. And so normally I wear Hey Dudes. And then if I do yard work, I wear Crocs. That's my whole,
That's your shoe wardrobe?
Yeah. That's what's my daughter say? My drip. She tries to do that all the time to me. She asks me what my drip costs, and I say it's not very expensive because I spent the majority of my money on you and your brothers. So,
well, my shoe allowance is more than yours because I am child free. So,
oh, you see, yeah, they're getting older though, so now it's not too much. But plus two, I spend. If you see behind me, it's mostly on action figures and stuff, which. They make fun of me about, but I tell them they give me joy, so therefore they're fun to have.
Everybody's got a hobby or an interest or something. Makes you easy to buy for then too, I feel like. Yeah, my wife normally laughs at me. We are completely on the opposite ends of things when it comes to a lot of things. Yes, it's very different. I did an episode with her before Star Trek or Star Wars. Because she didn't know, so I would just name stuff, like Spock, and she would have to pick Star Trek or Star Wars. Has she seen either?
She's watched Star Wars because of her father, but she hates it. She's never seen Star Trek, and I tried to explain Star Trek to her, and because we watched The Big Bang Theory, and they dressed up as like The Next Generation, which is my favorite Star Trek series, and I tried to explain things, and she was like, just don't. Just shut up and watch.
I do not care.
Yeah.
No, I relate to her. I feel like I could play that game. I having not seen them, but it's so prevalent in our culture and society that I feel like I get some of the references. So I feel like I wouldn't do too horribly at that game.
Yeah. I normally, if it gets too quiet, I ask her. I'm a big wrestling fan, so I ask her a bunch of weird questions from back in the day. There was a tag team called the Killer Bees, and I always go, who's your favorite Killer Bee? Is it B. Brian Blair or Jumpin' Jim Bronzell? And she's like, just go to your office.
I actually did grow up watching wrestling in the 80s though. Like at my grandparents' house, my grandpa was into it, but I think I only know like the older stuff very well.
I've delved into my new thing is since I've gotten older and I don't know what it is. Normally you go into World War II or grilling, I feel, if you're a man, once you hit over 40. Mine is wrestling history. Like I've delved into the whole history of how it came to a certain point and even to the point where how guys used to get paid out per match and, the whole lifestyle of everything. It's very interesting before that point in the 80s where it went totally national.
This sounds like a side podcast, Andrew.
I only do my one. So, but yeah,
hint, hint. I bet there's an audience for it.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very interesting the way that, certain things happen and how everybody's like, oh, you're going to destroy the business. And then all of a sudden you find out that they exposed the business since 1930 something, of how everything works. But it just kind of gets swept under the rug.
Yeah, I do think it's more interesting than at first blush, you might think so. Before we chat about Curly Sue, thank you for playing my game, my Retromade Wheel Time Capsule. I have a whole season on John Hughes and this being his final directorial work. I'm curious if you have any particular thoughts about John Hughes that you want to share.
John Hughes, once again, is one of those people that when you're younger, I didn't pay much attention to directors. And it was more who was in the movie and could I recognize them kind of from something else. So as a kid, I always loved every one of his movies. I mean, there's still a couple that I haven't seen, like Career Opportunities I didn't see. And you guys did a wonderful job of painting the picture of Career Opportunities. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't think I'm going to see that one, but thank you for showing, explaining it to me. But as when I got older and I started to realize who he was, it was like, wow, he's this guy making all these great movies out there that I just constantly enjoyed as a kid and were a big part of my childhood. And, Breakfast Club, Uncle Buck, The Great Outdoors, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink. Like I said, my aunt was only 13 years older than me, so she was a teenager through those times. So those were the things that we had to watch. And so I just thought he was really, really great. But then as I kind of get into the history of him and I see his later stuff, I kind of feel he lost it. Like it was just not there. Like a professional athlete that you watch from his rookie year and you're like, wow, this is going to be something special. And then all of a sudden you're like, you should have stopped earlier. You're not what you are. You're not what you used to be. Just maybe don't, you don't want to be mean, but time has passed you by. I understand a lot of people like to go until they say the wheels fall off, but I feel like at a certain point, I think Home Alone was his peak. And then after that, it was downhill from there. It wasn't anything as magical or there wasn't as much coming to age as what he was known for in the later ones.
Yeah, I think I concur with you. Definitely known for the teen Brat Pack type movies. And then he kind of lost his muses, but was still able to, some of the family adventure comedies. He kind of moved more towards that. And I think I agree. After that, I did read too, I can't recall what year John Candy died, but I think that was really hard on John Hughes. It sounds like he just kind of lost that impacted his wanting or passion for writing and directing.
Yeah, it's because did he do Planes, Trains, and Automobiles also?
Yep.
Yeah, so I could see where he hit that real big stride with Molly Ringwald and the Brat Pack, and then it went into John Candy, and then after that, it seemed like he couldn't find it again with anything else.
I think I fully agree. It's been really interesting doing this season because I was definitely not an expert of John Hughes and really looked up to him, some of those movies we talked about, but he's human just like the rest of us. Well, without further ado, let's get into Curly Sue.
Okay.
October 25th, 1991 was the release date. This is a PG movie and IMDb, it's only a 5.9. And I think that tracks.
Yeah.
This is both written and directed by John Hughes. And I did read, though, that although this was his final directorial effort, it wasn't actually originally planned to be that way. According to Gene Siskel, Hughes had planned to direct 2 more films with good friend and collaborator John Candy. Candy's premature death in 1994, Hughes decided to quit directing altogether and focus on writing and producing. And the loss of Candy is what ultimately kept him away from the director's chair because he loved working with that particular actor so much. However, that was in the mid-90s, and I think even before then, he had kind of started to lose his magic. Yeah. So if you all listening or watching haven't seen Curly Sue, or if it's been 30 years or something like that, this movie is about Bill Dancer and his young companion, Curly Sue. They're the classic homeless folks with hearts of gold. Their scams are aimed not at turning a profit, but at getting enough to eat. When they scam the rich and beautiful Gray Ellison into believing that she backed her Mercedes into Bill, they're only hoping for a free meal. But she is touched, and over the objections of her snotty fiance, insists on putting them up for the night. As they get to know each other, Bill becomes convinced that this is where Curly Sue belongs, in a home, cared for by someone that can give her the advantages that his homeless, nomadic existence lacks. He plans to leave her in Gray's custody and take off, but she has other ideas. All right, so this Bill Dancer is played by James Belushi.
Yes.
And Kelly Lynch plays the beautiful Gray Ellison. And we talked about her, obviously, on the Roadhouse episode from last season. And I had completely forgotten that she was in this movie because she kind of faded into obscurity. Yeah,
I didn't realize she was in Roadhouse. So
I think that's what she's most known for.
Really? See, I had no idea that so my thing with Roadhouse was like a friend brought the VHS over and we watched it. And I was more in tune to, say, Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott, where I was like, these are the coolest guys on the face of the earth. So
right?
It was one of those things. So that's probably why I didn't really recognize her so much.
Yeah, I mean, she's there for she's very beautiful in it. But yeah, I mean, Patrick and Sam brought me to the party for sure.
Yes.
But no, that's one I grew up watching. And yeah, I don't know if you listened to the Roadhouse episode, but we were like, it's actually really good. It's not... A lot of people are like, oh, it's a bad movie that's fun to watch. But I'm like, it's a good movie.
It's got a famous wrestler in it too, and Terry Funk.
That's right.
One of the henchmen.
Yeah, that's right. Were you familiar with the actress who plays Curly Sue at all? Alison Porter?
No, I know a lot of people I felt like a lot of people got her mixed up with the Pepsi girl, but then come to find out, I don't think she was the Pepsi girl. If you remember the Ray Charles Pepsi commercials.
Yes.
Well, everybody thought that was her. And when we were doing it, I was thinking to myself, I don't think that's her. Like, they look the same, but it doesn't track when that Pepsi commercial came out compared to this movie. So I was like, I think they're 2 different people that just look very similar.
I think you're right, because I actually did look up Allison's work, and Allison is spelled... I hate it when parents do this to their children. Spell a name normally, because her name, Allison, is spelled Alisan.
Yeah.
She's going to forever have to spell that for people.
Yep.
But I looked up to see, because I didn't really recognize her. She's known for this movie, but she also had a role in 1989's Parenthood. And then some random episodes of a lot of popular TV shows in the 80s, like Pee-wee's Playhouse, Family Ties, Perfect Strangers, and Golden Girls, one of my favorites. Get this, Andrew. She won season 10 of The Voice.
See, that's where my wife loves that show, and I don't like it, so I didn't watch it. Because I wish I would have watched that, but then she probably would have got mad at me because I would have been calling her Curly Sue the whole time. So. But that's pretty impressive because she sings in this movie and she sings pretty good.
Yeah, I noted the fact that she sings in this movie because I had already looked up who she was, and I was like, oh my God. And that was just in 2016.
The Voice has had some pretty interesting, like, 80s minor celebrities. Like, I believe Dottie from Pee-wee's Big Adventure was on there too.
Oh, all right.
Because I was like, that's my winner. That's my horse. And that's when I started watching it because I wanted to see if Dottie was going to win. And then
Did she?
I don't know. I don't think she did. I don't think she did.
Now, let's see. So we talked about Gray, which
Mhm.
for some reason, I don't know why, I know I will consistently call, so James Belushi is Bill Dancer, Kelly Lynch plays Gray Ellison, and whenever I do podcasts, I always, if it's a movie I haven't seen a ton, I tend to say the actor's name when instead of the character. But her name is Gray, which I thought was interesting.
He's got a very interesting choice in names. I felt like he was trying to go big with Gray, like think of something good, like, hey, let's call her Gray. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, what are we going to name the male lead? Let's just go with Bill. Dancer.
Bill.
And doesn't.
Yeah, Gray Ellison sounds very like hoity though, and she's a fancy lady.
Because it starts off very hard with her, where she's like, and because she's a divorce lawyer, and she's like, we're going to go after your husband, and we're just going to take him right off at the legs and everything else. And then
she's super high powered divorce attorney. Her client, Mrs. Arnold, is played by Barbara Tarbuck. And it's the only reason I bring her up because she's not really well known, but she has a lot of TV credits, and I would say 80% of them, she plays either a judge or a doctor in just like random TV episodes. Yeah. And then her boss at this law firm is played by Fred Thompson.
Yes. And he's got one of the greatest lines I've ever heard to tell somebody, because my wife is very career driven, even though she says it. And I've definitely got to start using this line on her, where he says, if you don't stop going 190 miles per hour, you're going to hit something. And I was like, that's great for people that are just go, go, go.
Great point. So Fred Thompson is very well known. He's been in a ton of stuff. I would say
On Order is probably where I recognize him the most from.
Oh, see, I only watch SVU.
Oh,
not
okay.
the regular one. Good call, though. The Hunt for Red October, I think, is maybe one of his most famous movie credits. And then because I love all these like sitcoms from the 80s, I recognized him also because in the early Roseanne, he plays her dickhead boss at the plastics factory. Mr. Faber, I want to say, or Faber or Farber or something.
Okay. Didn't George Clooney end up taking that point when he played, what is the name? Booker?
Booker. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Jackie dates him. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. See?
So Gray's, I didn't realize it was her fiance. Walker McCormick. Yes. That's also like a very rich
right on
name.
Top of that, Rose. That's exactly where I recognized him from.
Exactly. So the actor who plays him, he's super sleazy. He's like the epitome of the sleazy, like shyster. Ugh. His name is John Getz. And yes, he plays basically the same role in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, Rose's sleazy boyfriend, right?
Yep.
Yep.
It's just a little bit more, say, hoity-toity in a way, where he thinks he's better than everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I did watch the TV show Bosch, but it's been a while. I did see also that he plays a character named Bradley Walker. Interesting. Another Walker in 13 episodes. So those Bosch fans out there, tell me who that is again, what character he played.
Yeah, I've never even watched that show either. So I just remember him from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Because I don't know if you don't mind me jumping ahead. The one thing that got me when I did rewatch this, when I rewatched it for my episode, that I never dawned on me as a kid is the drifter that's kind of I don't want to get too much, but the drifter.
No, go ahead.
Is that steals Curly Sue's ring and pawns it for money. Is the guy from Home Alone. He's the gangster from, what is it? What is that movie called? Hell's Angels or something like that? Or
it's like not a real movie, but yeah.
Yes.
Ralph Foodie is his name.
Yep.
The line he says is, "Keep the change, you filthy animal."
Yeah, because so we use a lot of like racks and stuff at work to move like a lot of large parts, and one of the legs were bent. and I called it Little Mo, and nobody was picking up on the reference because all I could think about is Home Alone 2 when he's like, "You're smooching everybody. You live in Little Mo with the gimpy leg." So
That's a deep cut there.
yeah,
But yeah, that is him.
it's called Angels with Filthy Souls.
Yep. I love that it's not a real movie.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So Bill has a friend named Albert, and the actor's name, I've never heard of this name before. Branscombe? Have you heard that name before?
No.
Or Branscombe? Branscombe? I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it, but Branscombe Richmond is his name. He's a Native American actor and a stuntman and also a singer. And he's a lot of times the bad guy on screen. And he's been on the receiving end of the fists of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. He's gotten pummeled by Carl Weathers in Action Jackson and tangled with Steven Seagal in Hard to Kill. And he also did the stunts on John Carpenter's They Live.
Well, so he's not the main villain in Commando, is he?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. And did you recognize Steve Carell in this?
Yes. Because that was the way that I hooked my co-host Johnny into watching this. He didn't watch it as a kid, and he's pretty much the same age as me. And I was like, Steve Carell's in it. And he was like, oh man. I was like, it's his first film. And then he watched it and he was like, he's in it for like 2 seconds.
Literally. He's
like
at the waiter at the restaurant or something like that, right?
Tessio.
Yes. He has a name at least. Yeah. Also at that restaurant, the maitre d', it's a very fancy restaurant. The maitre d' is played by Cameron Thor. He's known for his movies Jurassic Park and Hook and Clear and Present Danger. And he's a convicted sex offender. So everyone steer clear of Cameron Thor.
So he's a great all-around guy then.
Yep. Super.
Yeah. Well, that was like
like Jeffrey
principal
Jones.
from that. I was like, oh my goodness.
John Hughes, what are you doing? Casting these people. What's happening?
Can separate the art from the art from the artist, I
guess. So there's a few smaller parts I wanted to bring up. Gray's assistant or colleague or something. Her name is Annis, but she's played by Gail Boggs. And she was a regular in this drama that I've never heard of called Bronx Zoo. And then we covered Ghost last season, and she plays Oda Mae's sister in that, but not really a whole lot else. And Vivica Davis plays Trina, the housekeeper.
That's the most interesting part of the movie. That whole sequence is when she comes in and she doesn't know Bill's in the bed. And he kind of just watches instead of saying, hey, I'm here.
She like changes into a maid's uniform, which is weird, right?
With her munchkins too. And he like watches her through like the cracked door of the bathroom. And I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't you have said, hey, I'm here? And then they end up becoming friends, like playing poker and stuff. And I'm like, wouldn't that weird you out in a minute? Like, wouldn't you definitely want to check out this guy and everything else? And
well, I mean, I wouldn't have brought him to my fancy apartment in the first place. So there's a lot that we need to, kind of go with the flow, right?
There's a lot to unpack in this when you're not watching it as a kid. I feel when it came to a lot of this stuff.
Definitely. I almost died though. I wouldn't have, a lot of these smaller characters I probably wouldn't have even thought much of. But when I do the research for the show, sometimes I come across some effing gems, and this is one. I can't believe I randomly found this, but this Vivica Davis played one of the main characters in a movie that I grew up absolutely adoring. We had it taped on VHS, and I've literally tried to find it, but I can't find it. And I think the reason I can't find it is because I did not realize that it was a made-for-TV movie. Have you seen or even heard of, Andrew or listeners, Student Exchange from 1987?
No.
She plays the girl. So it's like best friends, a girl and a guy that are dorks in their high school. And they come up with this plan to pretend that they're the student exchange students one from France and one from Italy. And then all of a sudden they become super popular. And there's like there's a really incredible cast. If you look up the cast for this, you should. There's like a ton of famous people in it. Anyway, she plays Carol, aka Simone, who's like the French. It's so good. Please, somebody tell me you've seen this. I will somehow find it and cover it on a future Retromade episode.
Yeah, I thought you were going to give me like almost the plot to, what is that? Just One of the Guys? Which is another movie not too many of my friends have ever seen, and I'm pretty shocked. I'm like, how have you never seen Just One of the Guys?
I think I've only seen it once, so I don't really remember a ton from it. But yeah.
Oh, it's. I don't think it's a movie that you can make today in a way.
No. There's a ton of stuff. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Monster Squad. My eyes got real big as they threw out sexual slurs at the kid, like in the first 5 minutes of it. I'm like, whoa, is that how we were back then?
Yeah, sounds like it. There's so much. I think I talked about it in another episode. It was like things that were so present in our vernacular that we didn't think twice about saying something. And once it's gone from your vernacular for so long, and then you hear it again, you're like, whoa, what did you just say? You know?
Very interesting in that way.
Did you also see that Edie McClurg, she plays the secretary?
Yeah.
And she is the redhead that always plays some small part like this in a John Hughes movie. It's always a delight to see who Edie McClurg is going to play.
He definitely has his lineup that he likes to go with on all of his movies. And, you know, if you're winning with a lineup, you got to keep it that way.
Indeed. The music. I don't know if you took note of this. The reason that I want to bring him up, I'm probably not saying it correctly, Georges Delarue. He's a French composer, over 350 scores for movies and TV. And I talked about him last season because he did the music for Silkwood with Kurt Russell. Have you seen Silkwood? A lot of people haven't.
I've never seen Silkwood.
It's really good. It's based on a true story, and it's also got Meryl Streep and Cher in it.
Oh, okay. So
it's really good.
That's actually a shock that I've not seen that, because I've watched Mermaids multiple times. So
I would highly recommend it. Give it a watch. It's super good. I did see that Alison Porter won an award for this movie, though. Young Artist Award for Best Young Actress starring in a movie, which is interesting because she didn't do anything else really until The Voice.
No, she kind of fell off, which is weird because normally, like back then, because Macaulay Culkin got real big. I mean, even as well, you could probably say his little brother now has surpassed him and in roles and that, but even he started off in a lot of these movies, and then you figured somebody like Curly Sue, I wonder if because it wasn't as big as a success as it was, why that young child actor thing kind of ended, because like Emmanuel Lewis wasn't even supposed to be in Webster, but because they saw him in the Burger King commercial, they were like, we're gonna put him. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Well, that's why the theme song is called Then Came You. It was only supposed to be about George Papadopoulos and his new socialite wife, and it was supposed to be like an odd couple thing, like the ex-football player with the socialite, and then they saw Emmanuel Lewis in the Burger King commercial, and they were like, yep, we're going to put you in the show, and they completely reworked it. So they were not too happy that they reworked their show.
I bet not.
To put Emmanuel Lewis in there. So
he was the star of the show.
Yes, and he was not even supposed to be in it. Like it was supposed to be called Then Came You, like in the theme song.
But then after that show, did he do anything after that?
Nope.
It's wild. I don't know. I think it's really
Gary
interesting.
Coleman too.
Yeah, you're right.
It's that kid thing where she pretty much did this and then really did nothing after it.
She had a unique look to her too, you know, like the big brown eyes and the curly hair. I mean, she was very cute. So and she was good. Like I don't tend to like child actors, but I thought she was very good.
See, I have a friend that hates movies where the children are the heroes. So I always laugh like he doesn't like the Goonies and stuff like that. He's old. He's older than me, but he like hates the Goonies, and he was a big Star Wars fan. And they came out with a new show on Disney Plus called Skeleton Crew, and it's about kids saving pretty much like their planet. And I was like, yeah, he's gonna hate this. He's gonna hate this so much. But
I do like the Goonies, but I think it was because in the Goonies, you feel like you're one of the kids. Like it's a whole,
yes,
the whole movie is kids, really. Yeah.
I think that was the charm of this as a kid, is because Curly Sue, the actress, was just so great in it that she was funny, charming, witty with a lot of different things. And then they threw you a lot of curveballs, even why she was named Curly Sue, because you do look at her and you're like, oh, her name is Curly Sue because, you know, she's got all that curly hair. And then come to find out that she was named Curly Sue after one of the Stooges, because one of the guys that they were traveling with for the summer thought she looked like Curly from the Three Stooges, which I would have not have traveled with him anymore, even if I was homeless.
Yeah. Well, homeless culture is really on display here.
Yes.
Like it's like romanticizing it in this particular movie, which we'll get into. Just really quickly, the budget here, $25 million, box office $33.7 million.
Yeah. I think that's what kind of killed her on it.
I mean, it made money. It just wasn't like a giant success. And I think there were a lot of missed opportunities as well. It sounds like you grew up watching this movie.
Yes.
What's your history with Curly Sue?
So like I said, it was what I call a cheater box movie because my dad had a cheater box. So I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I grew up in Niagara Falls, New York.
Okay.
So pretty much you don't go outside too much in the winter. So I watched a lot of movies and that kind of helped out. So I watched this a lot as a kid. And then all of a sudden, as I got older, it was movie on the back burner. I think I watched it once with my kids when they were younger. And then I just reviewed it, I want to say a couple months ago. And then I watched it again for this. So that's pretty much it. It's a movie I tell people to watch. Mm-hmm. Like my daughter's boyfriend, when we were on vacation, I was like, hey, watch Curly Sue. And I think he sat down and watched some of it, but I think he turned it off because he's like 20 years old. So he's not really going to be too much in. I think it was one of those things like my girlfriend's dad told me to watch it. So I'm going to, please him and just turn it on for a little bit. I think that's the way it was.
Well, when you watched it when your kids were younger, what did they think of it?
They enjoyed it. They thought it was, a good like family movie. They thought it was funny. So they like Curly Sue and all of her antics and everything like that. Because she's pretty much a mini adult in this. And that's one thing as a kid you're watching and you're like, wow, look at all this cool stuff she's doing. She's playing poker. She's running like these little scams and stuff like that. She's funny and everything else. So you're like, wow, this is pretty great. So they enjoyed it. I don't think they enjoyed it as much as the other stuff I showed them, but
okay.
They sat through it. So that was an accomplishment.
It is.
We watched it.
I think like it's just like a different world for kids and movies now. So I think you're right.
Yeah. Have you noticed that movies have gotten longer and songs have gotten shorter? Or am I people think I'm crazy when I say this. I remember growing up.
Definitely gotten longer. Like 90 minutes used to be kind of the mark.
Yeah. And then like you could have a 5-minute song, or like Guns N' Roses, I think November Rain's almost about 8. And now
the long version is like 11 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And now my kids listen to these songs and they're like done in 2 minutes. But then they're like, hey, watch this movie with me. And I'm sitting there for 3 hours. And I'm like, did songs get shorter and movies just get longer?
That's an interesting point. I have to think more about some songs. I'm wondering if a lot of things, fashion included, there's like a cycle. So now I'm wondering if way back in the day, I feel like movies were very long, like Lawrence of Arabia and like The Godfather, like
Gone with the Wind is
so
super long.
So that, and then they got shorter and now they're getting longer. And similar with songs from back in the day, used to be like a minute, like really just simple bebop, doo-wop, like, I don't know, there's like oldies, I feel like a lot of songs are very short and then they got long and now they're getting short. So I feel like it's just kind of a cycle that's happening. You bring up a good point though.
I try not to listen to newer music, so they don't like what I listen to because I'm like, listen to the guitar solo and stuff like that. Really take out of everything in. So
it's inevitable. I feel like kids and their parents. Although I feel like in some ways, like I love the Rolling Stones because I grew up listening to it because my dad loves them. And I don't know if I would. I mean, I think objectively they're awesome. So I probably would have anyway, but it's kind of normal. Kids don't like what their parents like and vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a very cute, easy to watch movie. Like you don't have to think too much. I very much enjoyed it. I think it could have been better. Right. But like we open and you're like, okay, it's like this montage of a baby and Jim intermixed with luggage and card playing and crayons and marbles and then the ring. And then now they're hitchhiking on those semis that carry a bunch of cars. They're in one of the cars. And then cut to, oh, we're in Chicago. There's a skyscraper. And now we meet Gray, this super high-powered attorney. And one of the things that I wanted to get your opinion on, because one of the common themes that I've noticed doing the John Hughes season is he portrays particularly women who are very career-oriented and they are single and not married and don't have kids. And that is portrayed to be an insanely negative thing in all of his movies. Like they're mean, they're emotionless, something is clearly missing from their life. I don't know.
That's maybe one of the things that now that you say that, maybe that's one of the things that in the age that he grew up around, that was, I want to say, when was he born? Like in the 50s? 60s,
I think like 1950. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was probably not, I think that's probably one of the things that he saw. And back then, I mean, it was horrible. A woman with a career and you're single and you're not married. And I think that kind of hands over into a lot of where that norm is changed, where you can be a successful woman and not be married and not have kids because you're more career oriented, or even if you do, it's okay to be a career woman. Like I think back then it was a lot of things where how dare you, not stay at home with the kids. I know my grandmother worked the line at the GM, and my mother told me that the men would pull horrible pranks on her because she was a woman working the line and doing things of that nature. And they didn't like the fact that she was doing that and everything else. So I could kind of see in how that generation, if you grew up in that generation, how you would actually portray women in that case. In that, you can be that way, but you need a child, you need a husband, you need something. You can't just be happy by yourself. It's okay for a man to do that, but it's not okay for a woman. And I think that's where that comes from, where now the norm is changing into, it's okay. You do you, we'll say now. But I think that's the way it was.
I think you bring up a really good point. It's just, and I have a heightened awareness to this particular issue because I am not married and don't have kids. And this is like the 5th time that I've noticed it in a John Hughes movie where it's like the evil, single, career-oriented woman. And I'm like, geez, what's your deal, John Hughes?
I think it's just that. I just hear about the stories. Like my mother would tell me, because my grandmother left my mother's father at one point, and she would say that, my grandmother would have to lie and say her husband was in the army just to get an apartment for them to live in. So I think it's that type of thing where you need a man. That's what it automatically comes down to, is you need a man, and you need one now, because that's what you're missing. You need a man, and you need a child, and you just need to settle down to be happy.
Your life,
that's how
and we see that here. Her life is not complete until she gets married to Bill and adopts Curly Sue. And now she's happy.
Yeah, that's I think that's his way of saying it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the 90s though. But yeah, you're right. It wasn't that far removed from, it was like the mid 70s before a woman could open a bank account, right?
I
Like,
would,
with
yeah, probably around it there.
it's
Where
it's
I
like
mean,
crazy how recent that kind of stuff was, if you think
I'm
about it.
it was huge in the 50s when Lucy was on
Mm-hmm.
TV pregnant. Murphy Brown giving birth was even in the 90s was like, hey, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You can't be doing these things as a woman on TV. I mean, how long did it take even for in the entertainment world where you would see a married couple sleeping in the same bed? That was like the other things that,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's where it kind of like plays into his writing as
Yeah.
well.
No, yeah, you're probably right.
I don't think he's going after you. So
No, I know. I just happened to notice it because I'm like, and I'm not even like a high powered attorney. I'm just like, I'm good, you know?
yeah.
I noted that after they go to this fancy restaurant, which is kind of a funny scene. Clearly, they've done this before. The maitre d' knows them, but there's like a distraction so that Curly Sue can go get some food from the buffet, and then they do this car hitting scam to scam Kelly Lynch into thinking that she backed over Bill, and they show this scene of her using a payphone and how disgusted she is with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I don't know why that very much resonated with me because that would have been the same way. I'm like, does anybody have any Purell that I can
Oh,
put on this phone? Like at the jail, or I can't remember where they were, that she had to use a payphone.
the Rocky Feller's House of Beef.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
exactly where she was.
That's right. That's
Uh,
right.
Rocky Feller's House of Beef. I don't know why I remember that aspect of the movie, but
It's funny. It's a funny name.
yeah, because I almost thought she was going to say Rocky Horrors, and I was like, no, it's Rocky Fellers. But I agree, and she just seems very disgusted throughout that whole entire thing that that they're eating and enjoying this food that she would never eat because she would go to the fancy restaurant and not get a T-bone steak as they yell it across. I thought it was weird that they had steps in there. Like that's how she went to the bathroom, because she had to go brush her teeth because she did it in Detroit though. That was always, I noticed that was kind of the running gag and everything is go do this. I did it in Detroit. Well, you did it in Detroit, you're going to do it in Chicago. Everything else. But yeah, I don't think I would have mind that much with the payphone. Because I think maybe in that setting, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of grease going in the air. But
Yeah, and yeah, like that type of a place, they probably never clean that phone.
no, I
So
don't think they ever clean that place.
I think I'm a bit of a germphobe, so maybe that's why I was like, yeah, I wouldn't. She was really grossed out by it.
I'm pretty sure they serve the toughest steaks possible. Those are not prime choice steaks either at Rocky Feller's House of Beef.
I'm kind of surprised they got steaks and not just like a hot dog or something,
Oh. Yeah, she really kind of went all out. Like,
Yeah.
just go to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. Now the ring that the guy you mentioned, the guy at the homeless shelter steals Curly Sue's ring that we learn has some meaning. A ring was given to her by her mother when she was a baby, and that essentially to her means that you're abandoning me, and then that is paid off later. But it was just like a costume jewelry ring. Why did he even think that would be worth anything to steal? Or was that just like a plot device?
I think it was a plot device, because as a kid I was like, oh man, he got ripped off. He just wants $15. But once again, when you watch it as an adult, you're like, he knew that it wasn't worth that much. And then they make the pawn shop guy like seem kind of be like nice, but not nice at the same time. I'm just gonna give him this $15 and tell him to leave. But if he doesn't leave, I'm gonna call the cops on him. But I think that was more of a plot device, and to say, this is your one, not just sentimental valuable thing, but your one valuable thing, and it got stolen by that guy. And how does she not feel that?
Right.
This is where I'm I feel this is very lazy writing through some of this movie as I watch it. There's a lot of stuff where I'm starting to question things and why things got left in.
Like what? What else got left
So
in?
I don't know if you noticed this, and I've watched this movie. This is the second time probably watching it in a couple of months, and I'm watching it all the time as a kid. So when she actually does hit him with the car,
Mm-hmm.
And
The
she
next
brings
day, he
the
actually does.
next day,
Yep.
the next day, and she brings him to the house. The doctor that is there, did you notice when he was I don't even know why I was like even looking or anything, but when he's leaving after he gives her a kiss and says, I'm right upstairs or down the hall or whatever, he is like picking a wedgie. like go back and I'm like,
I
wait,
did not notice.
I know I've watched this. I gotta say, I've watched this movie at least 10 times, twice in the past 2 months, and that is the first time I ever seen it. And I'm watching. I'm like, okay, this is where he says, I'm right down the hall, and I'm trying to pick up on. I think because I was trying to pick up on new things,
Mm-hmm.
and if I rewatch a show, like an older show, I'll pay more attention to the background actors or something like that. And I think that's what I was doing here. But when he leaves and she's about to close, right when she's about to close the door, he is picking a wedgie out of his butt. And I'm like, why would you leave that? Like, why wouldn't you just go, we need another take?
You're right. Or just cut that last part out. I guess, because this is probably the second time I've seen this movie. And the first one was 30 years ago. I was more like, why are you not going to the hospital?
Yes.
With this man that you hit with your car. He is a homeless stranger. And you think, oh, I have this gorgeous 3-bedroom, by the way, apartment.
Yeah.
She's a single person with a 3-bedroom apartment in downtown Chicago and has a housekeeper. That's wild in and of itself. I know that she's wealthy, but 3 bedrooms in downtown Chicago. And then she's like, I think I just better bring them to my house and have a doctor come do a house call on them.
Yeah. And what doctor did a house call in the 90s?
Unless, I know.
I know it probably was like her friend, but.
Yeah, that's why. She's like, I'll just have my neighbor who's a doctor come take a look at you instead of, maybe you need some medical attention at a hospital for your safety. And B, you're a homeless stranger. Would you in any world, you're a man even if you didn't have a family or anything, would you ever be like, come convalesce at my house?
No, it happened one time. My wife is a lot more trusting than I am.
Ooh, I am not.
We grew up in 2 different kind of childhoods in a way. And one time I was sitting on my couch and she was outside and all of a sudden this lady came into my house. And she was like, oh, your wife said it was okay to use the bathroom. And I'm like, I was taken aback. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went outside and I was like, did you just tell some lady she could use her bathroom? She's like, yeah, she said that they were driving around and she couldn't find a bathroom. And we lived like 5 minutes away from a McDonald's, like another 5 minutes away from like a Walmart, a Denny's or anything else. And I'm like, this never crossed your mind? So you could come at me how you want, but in my mind, I'm like, this lady's casing my house. She's casing my house. She wants to see what I got in there because she poked her head right in there and did that little look around. So I'm not going to lie. I called the police and I was like, listen, my wife just let some random lady in my house. And I think and then they sat outside in front of the house for a while. And I was like, I think they're casing my house. Turned out nothing really came of it. They didn't have anything going against them or anything, but I don't know. I just didn't feel.
Well, so were there other people in the car with it?
She had a boyfriend or a husband. There was a guy in the car with her.
Yeah, I wouldn't, because first of all, so the story doesn't even make sense. So you just stop at a random residential home? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Andrew. Not happening.
She grew up in, I mean, I don't want to say I grew up in a bad neighborhood. Niagara Falls is not the best area.
Oh, really? I've never been.
Oh, okay. Well, go to the Canadian side. It is not the best area. My uncle always told me, because he moved to Florida like when he was young and stuff like that. He always told me it's a great place to be from. It is a great place to be from. It is not what it used to be. It is not the best. It's not the best area. Where my wife grew up in another section of New York where it was like, you can leave your door unlocked and it's fine. And in Niagara Falls, it was like, you're locking that. You're locking that. You're not going to go to this place. You're not going to go to this place. You're not going to go to this place type of area. I don't want to put down my hometown, but it is not the best. I went back there a couple of years ago after living in Texas, and I was like, yeah, I don't ever want to go back to this at all.
I mean, that does make sense if you guys came from different places. I came from small town Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
So I come from the type of place, probably your wife, nothing happens here. It's like small town Nebraska. But I think I'm just like extremely leery of people because I hate humans as a species. Like I literally have a mug that says I hate people. So I trust no one.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would not have. When I was rewatching this, I do believe I got in my notes. I'm like, why didn't she just go to a hospital? You could have still taken them to a hospital, dropped them off, leave your phone number with, the billing department at the hospital says, I'm going to take care of all of his billing.
Yep.
And maybe say, hey, she's probably worried about getting sued. I'm a high-powered attorney here. What can we settle? I'm pretty sure they would have settled for small amount pocket change money to her, but decent money for us, type of thing. So that's what I didn't understand. Like I felt like it was, I need to get this done.
Yep.
Like it started out something good, like a last minute book report as a kid where I'm going to do so amazing. And the next thing you know, you got to get so many words. And then all of a sudden you're like, maybe if I turn didn't into did not, there we go. I added a word, and that's what I kind of feel. Yeah, everything like that to get the pages, hit that extra double space. Sometimes you might have been like, oh, I tripled space on that one, but I'm not going to go back and fix it. Type of deal when it came to this. I'm just going to throw something out there and see what happens.
Yeah, it all happened very quick. It was like there was the setup, and then we see Kelly Lynch falling in love with Curly Sue. That is shown. They have 2 encounters. There's a montage of them all eating pizza and getting a proper bath and going shopping. And then we see Jim Belushi, big shocker, he cleans up nice so that they can fall in love, but they don't show, aside from the Kelly Lynch falling in love with Curly Sue, it's just all of a sudden, because she wants to adopt Curly Sue, she automatically has this romantic relationship with Jim Belushi where we're not shown that at all. Right? I mean, how did they fall in love? We don't see that.
Yeah, that's where it gets weird because she's pretty disgusted by him, I felt, in a lot of parts and everything else. And doesn't she just like tell him, almost throw soap at him and tell him to get into the shower?
Yeah, probably. There's one scene where they're playing the piano together and he reaches his hand around, and that's the extent of, oh, they like each other now. But
I thought a lot of this stuff was a Hallmark movie, like a more produced Hallmark movie when it came to a lot of things, where a lot of things didn't make sense. There's not a whole lot of backstory for a lot of these things. Like I applaud, Bill Dancer for taking a young child, but from a one night stand, that's all he said it was. But yet it shows in the montage of him holding her as a baby was that day.
Right. Because it's not, she's not his child.
No.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And you mentioned the montage. There's tons of montages in this where they were like, we just need to speed this up. Like even when they finally do go out to dinner, when he gets all, cleaned up after the shopping montage, which is always something in probably one movie. Then all of a sudden it's show me your world.
Yes. And
it's kind of like the Aladdin Lady and the Tramp type thing where it's like, show me your world now. Let us take you out. And she says, you have no money. And he says, don't worry. And now they're riding on the back of garbage trucks and stealing popcorn from the guy in the movie theater and sneaking Curly Sue in so they can get into the back door of the movie theater and crashing weddings. And that was the one thing where she was like, he does this all the time. I mean, I know somebody would be like, why are you being so picky? But I'm sorry, if you're a homeless person, I'd never pick you out. If you're crashing a wedding, if you're at like my wedding reception or a wedding reception that I'm at.
Yeah, he's not ordinarily cleaned up like that.
Yeah, like I think I'm picking you out pretty regularly. If you're doing a toast, like who is this guy? Like, why is he here? That was the one thing. Now that when I went back and watched it, I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me either.
And all of a sudden, Kelly Lynch is totally cool with riding in a garbage truck. She
Yes.
didn't want to touch the phone 5 minutes ago. And now, but it's just like, yeah, we can have so much fun for free in this awesome city. And I guess that was sort of how, again, to show us that they're building on this relationship, but it just fell flat. There wasn't enough there. There wasn't any chemistry, I guess, I didn't feel between Kelly Lynch and Jim Belushi. And even the shopping scene, who doesn't love a shopping montage? Like
Yes.
it just fell flat. There was a lot of opportunities that were missed that really could have expanded and built upon these characters and made us believe the relationship a little bit more.
I enjoy the shopping montage too. What makes it's a very nostalgic thing. Because I remember going, say, if I did have to go to wedding reception as a kid, I needed clothes where you could walk into a Sears or a JCPenney's or Macy's or something. And there would be people at a counter, that would measure you and everything else and say, this shirt would fit you. And I remember being measured constantly as a kid because that was the way that it was, you need a new tie or you need something for a school dance. We were off at those stores and it was getting measured. And now you walk into those and you can't find a soul to help you. So that's kind of like one of the last shopping montages that you could actually kind of have where it's in that aspect of a counter salesperson.
Unless it's in a very like high end place where, you know what I mean? Like where they have like personal shoppers and stuff still. I think that, I don't know. I wouldn't know, but I assume for rich people, they have still very personalized experiences.
The only time I've seen anything like counter person is Christmas time. We went to Macy's. There's people behind the fragrance counter.
Oh, the memories. I didn't realize this, but you know how I had mentioned that Curly Sue was in an episode of The Golden Girls?
Mm-hmm.
It was the same episode that Edie McClurg was in.
Oh,
and
really?
So it was just funny that Alison Porter and Edie McClurg appeared in the same episode. In that episode aired just a few weeks before Curly Sue was released. And I cannot place what episode that was. I can't picture it. And I'm like a huge Golden Girls fan. So anybody out there, which episode was this? Please tell me.
Yeah, that was a staple when my grandmother would watch us after school. I'd come home after school and
so good.
Golden Girls, Oprah, the nightly news and everything else.
Oh, the nightly news. Yeah. Yeah. So John Hughes also has a tendency to put little Easter eggs in all of his movies. And I did take note of it, but only because I was looking for it. Did you notice that the law office is in the Bueller building?
I did not. I've never noticed that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in reference.
That's weird.
Obviously,
I didn't notice that, but I noticed the doctor picking it up. I have priorities, I guess.
Yeah, I guess there was kind of a throwback to the end of Uncle Buck, which I don't know. I think this is a bit of a stretch, but it's clearly something that John Hughes did on purpose. At the end, when Curly Sue is walking up the stairs to go to school, she turns around and waves and smiles. And that is the same as what John Candy does at the end of Uncle Buck.
Oh, okay. See, I remember it. I would have never put two to two together on that one. Probably because Uncle Buck is like 100 times
better.
This is probably, I think
way better.
Uncle Buck, I would say out of John Hughes movies, it's Uncle Buck and then Breakfast Club are 1 and 2 for me when it comes to John Hughes. So, because I also forgot to mention, I got my daughter into the John Hughes 80s stuff at one point, but she stopped because I had to be kind of the mean father in a way where not like mean, but she watched, what was it? Not Pretty in Pink.
Okay.
And she was like, Ducky's. I like Ducky. And she was like, oh, she was crushing on Ducky. I think she had to be almost 15 or 16 years old when she watched it. And she was crushing on Ducky. And of course, me, being the father that I am, I'm like, you want to see what Ducky looks like now? So I showed her John Cryer and she was like, yeah, I don't think I want to watch these.
That is hilarious. It's funny that she likes Ducky because he's the dorky one.
Yeah, I thought it was weird too. But yeah, she really got into the 80s teen movies at one point. So
I like that she did. They're fun.
Yeah, she wanted to watch Breakfast Club. I wasn't quite sure because I remember some of the little bit more crass stuff that was in it. So I waited until she got a little bit older to watch that.
Did she like it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She liked that
Breakfast
one.
Club's
I don't
really
think
good.
she liked 16 Candles. I think her favorite was Pretty in Pink. Which
Okay.
I prefer 16 Candles over Pretty in Pink.
I kind of
But
conflate the two. I recently covered 16 Candles and have not yet covered Pretty in Pink, but I guess like of those teen movies, I really like Weird Science.
yeah, if I watched that a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
I even watched the TV series, which
No, I did not watch that.
you did not watch that.
No.
It came out probably, when did Weird Science come out? 84, 85, probably around there, 86.
Six, I think 86.
So USA had the Weird Science TV show probably about 10 years after the movie came out.
It was
That's
that
how,
many years later?
yeah. It was, have you ever seen Kingpin?
Yeah.
The blonde haired lady from Kingpin plays Kelly LeBrock's role on the TV show for Weird Science.
I can't picture it. It's been a while since I've seen it, but okay, interesting.
That's what she plays there.
All right. Big shocker here. I'm into kind of some of the trivia stuff, but Kelly Lynch had said she was really excited to work with John Hughes and what a cute little movie, but it wasn't such a great time for her because she kind of had to play like mom between Jim Belushi and John Hughes. They really did not get along.
Oh.
And production was even shut down for a little while because Belushi refused to come to the set for a period of time.
I liked him when I was younger, but now when I went back and watched this, I wanted to say, couldn't you get somebody better?
I'm not a Belushi fan. Yeah.
Yeah, like I tend to go with the younger brother, considering I'm the younger sibling on things. So even in football, like I'm a big Eli Manning guy over Peyton Manning.
Okay.
I love Eli. Like I almost named my son Eli. And in this, I watched James Belushi, but then my dad was like, hey, you should check out Blues Brothers and Animal House. And then I saw John and I was like, James is horrible compared to John. Like the charisma factor is way off. So I always thought it was weird to have Jim Belushi in this role. I can't think of anybody probably at this time that would probably take a role like this, but I'm thinking maybe it wasn't always meant for him. And I was getting that feeling throughout this whole entire time. So when you told me that, I could definitely believe that there's like this tension between the two.
I have some trivia about who else was considered for the role.
Okay.
But just on Jim Belushi for a second, he's better in some things than others, but he doesn't have charisma, yet he has had a magnificent career.
I think it's the name.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, even Chris Penn had a good career.
True. You're right.
But Chris Penn, I feel from watching Reservoir Dogs, like I feel he's not quite with his brother. His brother's amazing, but I feel like it's kind of more than what Jim had compared to John in a way. Like I can understand Chris, where Chris did a lot of under stuff, where Jim, I felt like tried to shoot for the moon and be his brother, and it just never compared. Because I think he's in Blues Brothers 2000, and that movie just wasn't like, why did you even make this? I understand the Blues Brothers are great, but it's not the same.
Right.
It's Jake and Elwood, not Elwood and all these other guys that just dress up like them. Dress up like a blues brother.
Yeah, I must just be the name, because like he had a really long running TV series that was super mediocre, but it ran forever. I don't know.
Yeah. Then he started growing marijuana. I guess he had his own show where it was just about him growing marijuana or something.
Oh, I missed that.
I always see it like if I go through stuff and it's like calling growing Belushi.
I've never heard of that.
Just a big marijuana leaf right there.
All right.
So
Well, Bill Murray turned down the role because he was busy shooting What About Bob? But even that, okay, Kelly Lynch is gorgeous. Come on, get somebody. Bill Murray is not an attractive man.
No, and I don't see him as a homeless guy.
I could. I can see it. Yeah. But I think originally Alec Baldwin was supposed to play Bill Dancer.
Okay.
Which makes way more sense. That tracks for Kelly Lynch. I could buy them as a couple, Yeah. But he was doing A Streetcar Named Desire, the Broadway production, so he was unavailable. And then like tons of these other people were considered for Bill, like John Travolta, Jeff Goldblum, Michael Keaton, Richard Dreyfuss, Kurt Russell. That would have been good. Kurt Russell would have been great. John Goodman, Sylvester Stallone.
That would have been horrible.
John Goodman or Stallone?
No, Stallone.
Yeah, I agree.
That would have. Have you ever seen that? What is it? The comedy where he's the mobster?
Oscar.
Yes, Oscar. Oh my! I fall for that one all the time. I'm like, oh, Oscar's here. I think I'm gonna watch this, and I watch it. I'm like, this is not what I wanted.
Now, granted, I haven't seen it in a while, but I recall really liking it. And you might not be aware, Andrew, but I have another show that I do. I'm on a Rocky series podcast, so I have a soft spot for Stallone. But he would not be good in this at all.
He's very. It depends on the role. I'm not a big Sly like in a comedy role type deal.
Most people aren't. It's not his strong suit.
Arnold kind of pulled it off with Twins, but I think that's because he had Danny DeVito with him. And it was kind of like a way to play it off. If you're an action guy and you try and go into comedy, I feel like it doesn't.
It's tough. It's harder than it looks.
Yes, it doesn't work for you.
Yeah. Also, Mel Gibson, Ray Liotta, Jeff Bridges, Steve Guttenberg, Bruce Willis, and Tom Selleck.
I would have gone with Bruce Willis.
I can see Bruce Willis being really good.
I think Bruce Willis is more of the everyman out of all those guys, where he's not like, wow, look at him, but he makes sense, especially if you watched Moonlighting or anything.
That's true. I adore Kurt Russell, but he's probably too good looking, maybe. But I can buy him. And anyway, so that was
when I see Kurt Russell, I think of I could see I could see him in that, because he kind of did this in a way with Overboard, where he was that impoverished guy that just trying to make it through the world. So I could see that one.
He's very charming too. I can see like that, being impressive to Kelly Lynch's character. But yeah, I would have liked pretty much anybody else. No, except for Richard Dreyfuss. Not a fan. Oh. That would have been horrible. I don't like that. Mm-mm.
No, he kind of too dorky. Like, why would you fall in love with it's horrible, the homeless dork, as I got all my action figures behind me. But once again, why would you fall for? And he's so kind of whiny.
He is whiny, and I think he's also notorious for being hard to work with. So I don't know. I wouldn't have cast him.
I'm trying to think who else. I would have gone with Bruce Willis. I think I would have went.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
He would have. He would have done better. Kurt Russell, I could see, because he can get that grit to him. I think you need somebody with a little bit of grit, where I don't think Bill Murray's got that streetwise grit to him as much. He is just more like witty in a way. Like,
I see
more
what
comedian.
Mm-hmm.
I need a guy that can look good dirty.
Ray Liotta was another one, I guess. And he's like attractive, but not overly so.
Plus, it all depends on what movies I've seen him in before. And if I got to relate him to that, like, I'm a big Sopranos fan, and my wife will watch shows, and I'll see a guy from The Sopranos. And there was a guy that he was a snitch, and she was like on one of her doctor shows. And I was like, that's that rat Jimmy. And she was like, what? I was like, that's the rat Jimmy. Jimmy ratted on him.
From Sopranos. Oh God, that's still like in my top 5 shows of all time. I love it so much.
It's great.
Mm-hmm. Christina Ricci, I guess, was the first choice. That's who John Hughes wanted to play Curly Sue, because he had seen her in Mermaids.
Oh yeah, she was great at Mermaids.
Mm-hmm. She was busy shooting The Addams Family, which is a great movie, also from 91.
I can't believe that's 91.
I know.
I want to place it later, but
I know, right? And Natasha Lyonne auditioned for the part, and I could see her doing a good job. Just a redheaded version of Curly Sue, but I really liked. I had no problem with our Curly Sue. I thought she did a good job.
No, she was good.
So, any guesses for who was considered for Kelly Lynch's character, Gray Ellison?
Geez, at this point,
Mm-hmm.
trying to think who was big, and now you probably got what, Meryl Streep, but she's probably too high at that
She's
point.
too big. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Jeez, probably Cher, but she's doing mermaids.
Mm-hmm.
I
could
want to say
see
Diane Keaton, but I
Ooh,
think she's
good-
too big.
Yeah,
at this point, too.
good call. But
'Cause
that movie was kind of already made. Baby Boom. She
Baby
kind of
Boom,
already,
yes.
she already did
I
that.
remember watching that as a kid. My mother was a big fan of the movie Baby Boom, and
Me too.
I still remember her making her own baby
Food.
food. Yes.
That was her business because she was the high-powered. This was the thing of the 80s, maybe the high-powered single lady with no kids, and then watch her fish out of water story with that kind of a woman now loving being a mother.
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton was considered, and she was
Oh.
unavailable because she was doing T2. And then a bunch of other ladies, including, I could see almost all of these doing a good job. I had no problem with Kelly Lynch, but she didn't blow it out of the water. So Gina Davis.
I would have loved that. I'm a big fan of Gina Davis.
Me
I've gone
too.
back and watched some Family Ties episodes, and she was great in that as well.
Who was she in Family Ties?
So Baxter was pregnant at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were playing off that she was sick or something, but she wasn't on the show, so she was the housekeeper.
Gina
So,
Davis? Oh.
Yes, but she wasn't like a normal housekeeper. She came from, I guess, a family of kind of Providence. Like she was almost like a trust fund baby, but she wanted to prove that she could do things. So she was a terrible housekeeper, but they kept her because Alex P. Keaton, like he thought she was good looking,
Shocking.
and then the father felt bad for her. So it was kind of like one of those, how definitely the show is, where he's the more liberal one and he feels bad for her because she's just trying to make her way. But then the conservative guy's like, well, she's pretty good looking, so let's just keep her on. And she like burns food and everything else.
I do not recall this at all. And I thought I had seen all of Family Ties, but I guess not.
I've watched some good portion of it, and there was some people on there where I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot. Like Chunk from the Goonies is on there and everything else.
There were a lot of guest stars that I can remember. But yeah, I really do like her. I like Kirstie Alley too. She was considered.
But I don't think I like her in this role.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Olivia Newton-John. I don't really have feelings. I don't care. She's just like to me.
I think she's just there
in
a lot of roles. Like even in Grease, she's like the star, but she's just like there that falls behind the scenes compared to Rizzo or anybody else.
She doesn't have that charisma. I agree.
No.
Laura Dern, Andy McDowell, who I can see Andy McDowell also doing a good job. Sigourney Weaver, Jamie Lee Curtis.
I could see Jamie Lee Curtis. Sigourney Weaver, maybe because if it's a role in the whole Aliens series, I just feel like she would overpower, especially
I think
if
so
you had, like, Jim Belushi in there. Like she would just overpower that role.
I think so too.
Like even more than Kelly Lynch did.
Kathleen Turner, who probably hadn't been in a whole lot in a little while at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Goldie Hawn. I think it would have been hilarious if it was Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Back together again.
Yeah. Favorite Goldie Hawn movie is Wildcats. That's my favorite.
I don't think I've seen Wildcats.
You've never seen where she becomes
like the football coach or something?
Yes, it is great because it's the opposite of the way that Kelly Lynch is portrayed in this, where she has to earn the respect of the team. And everything. She's not as rare, but she is in a way. It's very good. The other part I found weird in the writing in this is the boss. If you notice at the end, in the beginning, he says, relax, don't go so hard. And then all of a sudden at the end, he's like, ease up. Or no, he's like, what are you doing?
Where have you been?
Back away from this. And then where have you been? Get away. And everything. It's like, what do you want from her?
Yeah. He tells her to take it easy. There was also a weird storyline, like half storyline that they didn't really do anything with. The wife so there's a divorce happening. Kelly Lynch is representing the wife and she's really going hard. And what's his face?
The Fred Thompson?
Fred Thompson, yeah. So he's like, no. The husband doesn't want a divorce, but he doesn't want to be with her or something like that. Like it would cost him too much money.
Or he doesn't want to give her anything. He wants the divorce. She doesn't want the divorce, but he doesn't want to give her anything. So he's like a city council member or something because she uses the dirt that she's got on him to get Curly Sue out of Child Protective Services.
That's right.
Because her boyfriend, Mr. Walker, calls Child Protective Services because he's mad because
he's jealous. Yeah.
Jim Belushi's getting what he has and everything. So she like uses that against him, which is the city council member is, I forget what his name is, plays in Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh,
John Ashton.
Yeah. You're right.
He's in Beverly Hills Cop, but they were like, hey, we're going to put this subplot in the beginning, but now we're not going to go back to it until we need it.
But it sort of doesn't make sense, though, because then after Kelly Lynch softens up and is no longer like a killer with this divorce, she somehow then convinces the wife that she really loves him still and doesn't want to get a divorce at all. Yeah. And then Fred Thompson is like, no, he doesn't want that.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's the point of this?
That's
like, why was this a part of this movie?
Yeah. The only time it came into play was to pull a favor with a city official.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, after that, it was done.
But the back and forth of what the husband and wife wanted, I was like, why is this here? I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, it was, they just had to add it in so later on they could go back and say, oh, see, this is why. It's very, very, very odd. Like
very odd.
So I could see why this is his last big kind of writing and stuff like that, other than anything else, because it's just not as coming of age or anything of that nature as it. The other thing too about this is I don't think it automatically knew what it wanted to be in a way. Mm-hmm. Like, does it want to be a heartwarming comedy, or do you want it to do like a slapstick comedy in a way? Because there was a lot of part where she hits him with the board and he goes flying, or he gets thrown into the van, and then there were sound effects. Like, what do we do? What are we?
That's from Home Alone. I noticed that when we covered Dennis the Menace too. Like, he pulls a lot from Home Alone.
But in Dennis the Menace, I could see it. But in this, what do you want it to be? That's one of the things. Like when we review a movie, is doesn't know what it wants to be. Like we just reviewed a movie called Bingo that probably is a cult classic. It's about it's like a parody of A Boy of His Dog.
Oh,
and it's very, very absurd, very problem child, early 90s, Pee-wee Big Adventure mold. So like we gave it pretty high ratings, but that's only because we knew it knew what it was.
Right.
When it comes to Curly Sue, as great as it is, like when I'm watching it now, I don't think it knows what it wants to be. And the directions, like we said, are in 9 different directions, and it doesn't give you any type of detail of why this came to be in a way.
Yeah, it's sort of like it goes 75% of the way there and then falls short in a lot of different ways. It's a basic movie, and there's nothing wrong with a basic movie.
No.
But it could have been something special. And I do think that Hughes has, at this time, he's lost a little bit of his magic. Is my closing thoughts. What about you? What are your closing thoughts on Curly Sue, Andrew?
Yeah, I just feel like he's lost his magic. I'm, like I said, I'm into wrestling. There's a term, you book a wrestler and you book a storyline, and one of the guys that I listen to uses the term lazy booking. And I just feel this is lazy booking on John Hughes' part. This is a guy that turned out classic after classic, and the magic was gone. There's nothing. It's here. I think it's a great movie. Or down the road, if I had grandkids or something, or if I'm babysitting younger kids, and it's there, but it's not my first choice to show somebody that. Like it's like you're scrolling through streaming because you don't know what to watch. So you're just on Netflix or something. All of a sudden you're like, oh, there's Curly Sue. But then something else was right next to it, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm going to go to Ferris Bueller.
100%.
That's where it lies.
Yeah.
Like we did Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. And I was like,
I listened to that one.
Yeah. I was like, no, this is not for me anymore.
Yeah,
a
it's
kid.
funny when you revisit things.
Yeah, and I feel the kind of the same with Curly Sue. I'm not seeking this out as an adult. Like this is probably my last viewing of Curly Sue for this, and that's probably it. I will talk highly of it just because of my nostalgia for it, for like a family thing. But other than that, it's kind of a wayside movie. It's the $5 bin at Walmart with the box of DVDs. But I'll enjoy it if I watch it, but it's not anything I'm seeking out anytime soon. And the wheels have definitely fell off at this part. The magic's gone. You're not doing what you used to do.
I concur, which is sad because this is his last effort as a director, and it's not what we really want. It's not the way we want him to go out, so to speak.
Yeah.
I know it seems we're being a little hard on it, but I think sometimes that happens when you have high expectations, when somebody puts out such great work, and then this isn't a bad movie, but it's not a great movie. Yeah. But it was fun reminiscing about it with you, Andrew.
Yeah,
and
this was great. I had a great time.
Also, some of the pop culture from 1991. It was fun to go back in time with you. Thank you so much for joining me on Retromade. Please tell us where we can find you.
You find us. I have a YouTube channel, but that's more just kind of doing Let's Plays. And if we do anything a little bit more visual, I'll put that up there. I'm on a network, the BICBP Radio Network. You can find us there. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're kind of had a little bit problem with our feed. So my friend who runs the network is archiving our old episodes into our new feed. That should all be caught up after a while.
Awesome. Well, I will have links to where we can find you in the show notes.
Okay.
So thanks again, Andrew.
Thank you. This was great.
That's it for our look at Curly Sue, a bittersweet end to Hughes' directorial run. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to follow, review, or drop me a note. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And until next time, be kind. Rewind.